new from Imprint is Suspiria, the 2018 remake on 4K and Blu-ray, and it looks fantastic. First of all, the 4K transfer is absolutely amazing, and this is the second time that I have sat down and watched this film, and again, I just marvel at it. Now, I'm a huge fan of Dario Argento's original. It's brilliant, it's amazing in its own right. Suspiria, for me, is the better film. Sacrilege to some, but I just feel it's more nuanced with its thematics, it's tied into the narrative, and it feels just better a representation of that kind of story. I still love Argento's. Suspiria is something different, yet somehow similar, and just more complete in my eyes. We follow Dakota Johnson's character of Susie Bannon, a young woman in the 70s who's travelling to Berlin to hopefully audition for a dance troupe, and ultimately being accepted into it by showing raw talent and tenacity by the teachers that work there, who bring her in and kind of push her forward to the centre of their latest production. And amongst all that, witchery stuff happens, spooky sequences galore, and it's all underlined by this absolutely pitch perfect and phenomenal score that comes with this by Tom York. It is so fitting, so haunting, so full of melancholy and wonder that it's the perfect match to the visuals. And there is an extra on the disc that gets into that, and we'll talk about that when we go to the extras disc. For me, Suspiria is a film all about love and compassion. There is a strong theme of motherhood throughout it as well, and it's great to see these kind of come to the forefront. And I feel that the director, Luca Guadagnino, has got a wonderful way of expressing this, because there's a lot of things done throughout the film with looks, with nods, with lingering glances that scream so much but say very little. And it's a wonderful tag throughout the film, and this film has wonderful sequences of terror and scares and gore and all that stuff, but it's put upon a foundation of great characters and strong thematics, and I believe that's what makes this one a more complete film than Argento's Suspiria. We watch Susie. We see a woman who is out of place where she grew up, who finds something that she wanted. She was drawn to this place, and she finds something that is calling to her here. The idea of the witches and the spells are all delivered in such a delicious fashion, with a look, with a glance, with a cackle, with an unnerving loud noise that just snaps everything to the forefront. This is a wonderful way to deliver it. There's a moment where one of the characters just stares into Olga, one of the characters, and it's mesmerising, and it's over as quick as it began, and you realise that something has happened in that locked gaze, something otherworldly, something mysterious and strange and, yes, deeply unsettling. And the movie has lots of sequences like that that just unnerve you, that just, you feel as if there is something going on. You almost feel as if you're being a voyeur on this strange coven of witches as they go about their machinations. It's deeply, deeply unnerving. And I feel like Dakota Johnson has never been better in this role of Susie, a woman who has just flung herself right into this troupe, who's thrown herself into the lead of this dance and is giving it her all, exploring herself, exploring her desires and what she wants, and you kind of see that come to the forefront throughout the film. Now, I did mention that there are some sequences that are horrific and nightmare feel that are just haunting, but it's mixed with something beautiful most of the time. You know, there is a sequence at the start where Susie is giving a dance, and we get to see another character in a different room, a different part of this being shaped and twisted and broken, and it's such a stark contrast, but it's wonderfully put together. You get this human contortion of the dance, of how someone is shaping their body to create a mood, to create a feeling, and then we have this person who is being molested and twisted and turned by some unseen force into something grotesque and horrible, and you have the sort of beauty and the ugliness of this in one wonderful sequence, and it's so impactful. You have this haunting score that comes through it, one with Tom York's vocals that layer the film with a sense of melancholy. You feel as if there is sadness and loss all the way through this film. And again, like I said, the themes of this one for me are definitely love and compassion. You see it throughout it. The compassionate people are often taken advantage of, but to have that love and compassion within it is what's ultimately going to save a lot of people. There is a wonderful moment where I keep going back to the sequence with all of it. For me, it's a standout sequence where you know that the teachers, the witches, are up to something. They're all nods and glances, knowing looks, and one of the teachers, just a tear rolls down her cheek, and you can understand that they're doing what they feel is necessary, but at the same time, there is compassion there is an understanding of what's going on, what they are doing, but maybe shouldn't be doing at the same time. I love this film. There is so much I could go on about, from the set design to the period of time that it's set, to the political and civil unrest that's going on at the same time. We get to the old man character as well, played by Tilda Swinton, that is fantastic. It's one of those characters where you feel that they are expendable, so there's always a worry about them. All the individual characteristics of the various teachers, witches within this place, although some of them don't get a lot of screen time or say a lot of dialogue, that you have an understanding of them. The conversations that they have, the kind of telepathy, talking to each other, is a wonderful tact. And it's just, there's so many things in this film that are just marvellous, that just speak to me, that just wow me in so many ways, that I feel that I have to thoroughly recommend this film if you haven't seen it. It's an absolute marvel. This is, as usual, an absolute stunning edition. I'm so glad it's in 4K, because the 4K was exemplary. There are a host of extras in here as well, so let's dive in and have a look at what's included on this disc. Here we are in disc 1 of Suspiria. Let's go to the special features. Here we have an audio commentary by author and academic Miranda Corcoran. Then we have several featurettes: the making of Suspiria, Suspiria, the secret language of the dance, the look, the transformation of Suspiria. These are all roughly around about the 4-minute mark. They're kind of familiar promotional pieces, and kind of like a teaser before we get into the meat of the extras, which is on disc 2. So let's go there. First up, we have cuts, an interview with editor Walter Fassang. This is 40 minutes 55 seconds. He talks about his relationship with the director, how they managed to get Tom York on this, how they always wanted to be, or they were always fascinated with Argento. There's a great tidbit at the start where he talks about, we're considering remaking Deep Red in contemporary London, which just sounds terrific. Next, we have Of Witches, Mothers and Death, interview with film historian David Paolucci. This was 30 minutes 9 seconds. He talks a little bit about the history of the original 1977 Suspiria, which I found great and about how this was almost remade several times before we got to this rendition of it. Next, we have Suspiria's three fathers, Argento, Fassbinder, and Guadagnino. Video essay by Alessandra Heller Nicholas. Now, she ties the two Suspiria films together with Fassbinder's The Third Generation. I'm not entirely sure I buy this argument. It has been a long while since I've seen that film. I would like to revisit it. But, yeah, I don't know if I was on board. Interesting enough, but yeah. Next, we have possibly my favourite extra on this disc, Tom York's Spells, the music of Suspiria, a video essay by film writer Philip Jeffries. Now, I found this to be a fascinating take because it's the music is such an integral part of this film. To have someone kind of explain the nuances, some of the facets of it was really interesting, something I'm not fully informed about, but I feel as if after this I came away with lots of great information. We have several interviews as well that were released around about the time the film came out. We have the BAFTA Guru Masterclass with the director, which is 1 hour 17 minutes 40 seconds, which is just a sit down conversation talking about his career. Next we have an Oscar award winning conversation which runs about 10 minutes as well. And that's the extras for Suspiria. There we have it, the Suspiria set from Imprint. Expensive? Yes, but also worth it. It's a pride of place in my collection. I'm so glad to have this. I just think it's a wonderful remake. You know, so often they fall flat, but I feel as if there's enough here that was different, in a different avenue, but still using the core elements to create another wonderful movie. How often do you get an original film and a remake film that are equally fantastic, but different enough to make them both really special? I'd love to know your thoughts on Suspiria from 2018. Let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it. How do you feel it matches up to Argento's Suspiria as well? Let me know in the comment box below. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com always, in which you can support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.